Viewers are invited to post their location and local time because time zones make stories stranger. Someone's breakfast tale can be another's midnight thriller. He sits at his kitchen table in Florida that Tuesday morning sipping coffee while the envelope on the table seems heavier than paper should allow. Inside, the HOAs decree that his boat, the same 35-foot fishing craft, resting peacefully in slip 23 for 12 long years, is now an aesthetic disturbance. He actually laughs at first, a sharp sound over the hiss of his coffee maker, but the joke quickly curdles. Historians still argue whether absurdity or arrogance has destroyed more empires, yet here he is watching both collide in the form of Angela Brooks, HOA president. He heads down to the Marina with curiosity beating against his ribs. The air is crisp, the kind that makes Florida mornings taste like freedom, at least until community politics sours the breeze. He inspects his boat, gleaming white with fresh blue trim, neatly coiled ropes, deck scrubbed, gear stowed. Around him, vessels larger, rustier, some listing like they've survived pirate attacks. But apparently his is the one bringing down property values. It's like blaming one donut in the box for everyone's cholesterol. Angela is waiting, pearls shining in the Marina office light, mid-50s business suit energy even while holding a dog leash. And her smile carries the warmth of a tax audit. "Mr. Harris, your situation," she begins. The way she stretches the word makes it sound like contraband, as though his fishing boat is smuggling nuclear material instead of tackle boxes. He keeps his voice calm, almost amused, reminding her that half a dozen bigger boats sit just feet away. She counters with a speech about spirit of the rules and community harmony. Translation: there is no rule, but she's hoping her tone substitutes for law. He notices something odd. The Marina signage is generic, more corporate than residential. No HOA logos, no community branding. Just commercial-looking notices about safety and dock space, as though someone else truly owns this waterline. He files that thought away. Angela storms off, all brisk heels and offended dignity, but the seed of doubt has been planted. A week later, her escalation arrives with photos so manipulated they'd make a conspiracy theorist proud, wide-angle shots that turn his modest fishing boat into a Godzilla of fiberglass. The HOA claims it dominates the visual landscape. He stares at the pictures, half expecting a sea monster to rise behind him, and realizes someone has been sneaking around with a camera. That invasive touch flips irritation into determination. He pulls county records using old marine contractor contacts. The revelation: the Marina isn't HOA property at all. Instead, it belongs to a freshly minted entity called Coastal Properties LLC, created just 2 years ago. His gut tells him Angela's manicured hands are deeper in this than she admits. The letter gave him 28 days. Instead, he'll spend them investigating, sharpening curiosity into weaponry. And in the quiet moments, he can't help smirking at the absurdity. Imagine 12 years of peace, and now his biggest crime is having a boat that photographs dramatically at sunset. The next letter comes dressed in legalese, stamped with the intimidating letterhead of McCoy and Associates. Threats of $500 daily fines, civil liability, community disharmony. It reads less like neighborly governance and more like the script for a courtroom drama. He notices what's missing: any actual rule. It's a polished scarecrow, all posture and no bone. Historians still argue whether fear or money drives most societies, but here the HOA is betting on both. That night, instead of pacing, he dives into records, county deeds, incorporation papers, corporate registries. Coastal Properties LLC keeps appearing, its ink barely dry in bureaucratic time. The owner, Hannah Brooks, a 26-year-old law student. Brooks, as in Angela Brooks. The dots line themselves up with insulting neatness. For 3 years, Angela has run the HOA. 2 years ago, her daughter forms a shell company. Now suddenly, Marina problems blossom like algae after a rainstorm. Fraud 101 wrapped in pastel blazers and neighborhood newsletters. He tests the waters carefully, an email to Angela with the subject line, "Interesting family business you have there." Her reply is frantic, under the veneer of formality, accusations of harassment, veiled threats, a shaky voice that betrays panic. If her case were strong, she'd have cited rules. Instead, she hurls empty words. It's like watching a magician drop cards mid-trick. Rather than shrink, he requests a formal board meeting. Copies of documents go out to every member. Angela tries to stage manage the room. Jim, the accountant, Lisa, the realtor, Sandra, the lonely widow. They flip through papers as he presents the timeline. Property transfers, corporate records, HOA fees, earmarked for a marina the board doesn't even own. For once, silence lingers. Jim finally mutters, "This doesn't add up." That small crack feels bigger than thunder. Angela deflects, saying the board still sets standards regardless of ownership. He presses back, "If there's no rule in writing, this conversation is over." Her allies shuffle in discomfort. Her empire looks less like Caesar's Rome and more like a sandcastle meeting high tide. Within days, the backlash grows. Residents whisper at mailboxes, call each other after dinner, share his documents in hushed tones. A retired teacher confides that Angela recently tried to ban garden statues. A neighbor mutters about paint color crackdowns. A pattern emerges, create problems, then swoop in with solutions that somehow benefit her circle. And now the circle includes her daughter's company. Angela escalates with another cease and desist, this one dripping with menace, but it avoids the core issue, never denies the family tie, never refutes the ownership record. He recognizes desperation. He files complaints with the county and state regulators. His paperwork, neat, his tone professional. The scheme is larger than he imagined. 6 different communities, identical playbooks, millions in undervalued properties transferred under maintenance crises. McCoy and Associates advertise community asset optimization. He almost laughs, sounds like a diet plan for neighborhoods. Really, it's a handbook for turning common property into private profit. The fraud trail stretches like a fishing line across half of Florida, and here he is, the guy they tried to bully for a boat, yanking it into daylight. He's sitting in his workshop late Friday night when the final piece clicks into place. Buried in dusty 1992 planning documents lies a forgotten easement, a 20-foot wide strip guaranteeing public access to Lake Harmony. It had never been abandoned, never legally erased, which means no private company, not even Angela's daughter's LLC, can fully control the marina. The irony makes him chuckle so loud the dog tilts its head. Historians still argue whether luck or persistence makes the greatest discoveries, but this one feels like both. He sharpens his plan with the precision of a captain charting reefs. As a licensed marine contractor, he files for an emergency dock inspection. The county approves in record time. By dawn Saturday, yellow caution tape flutters across the marina like crime scene decor. Official notices flap in the breeze. Residents wander down expecting sunshine boat rides, and instead find the entire marina sealed tighter than a jar of pickles. A birthday party is canceled, the fishing tournament postponed. Angela fields 80 furious phone calls before noon, her polished empire collapsing under the weight of legitimate paperwork. Every angle she tries backfires. If she claims it's HOA property, the county records prove otherwise. If she claims it's private, then she admits her daughter runs an unlicensed commercial operation. Either way, she's caught like a cat in a rocking chair factory. Neighbors start asking dangerous questions. Where did our marina fees actually go? Why are we paying for maintenance on land the HOA doesn't own? The mood shifts from grumbling to outright rebellion. By Monday, county inspectors arrive with clipboards and stern expressions. They find electrical violations, failing dock flotation, missing fire equipment, serious hazards, not cosmetic quibbles. Worse coastal properties lacks the permits, licenses, or insurance for any legitimate marina. In one sweep, Angela's scheme is exposed as not only fraudulent, but dangerously negligent. The local paper splashes her photo across the front page beside the headline, Mother-Daughter HOA Duo Profits from Communities. The story spreads faster than neighborhood gossip about who burned the barbecue chicken. At the emergency HOA meeting, over 200 residents pack the hall. He distributes his documentation like a teacher handing out graded tests. Faces pale as the dots connect. Angela tries to bluster, insists he's just avoiding HOA fees, but her hands tremble. Jim the accountant speaks up again. This doesn't add up. The vote of no confidence passes 187-11. Angela resigns that same night. What follows is less battle, more cleanup. County audits confirm $68,000 siphoned from residents for marina maintenance on property Angela's family owned. The state pursues fraud and conspiracy charges. Hannah's law career evaporates in scandal, her property seized. McCoy and Associates earn a suspension for enabling the racket. Meanwhile, the community elects a new board promising transparency and fairness. The marina, bought back at below market cost, becomes a true communal asset. He returns to Slip 23 boat, rocking gently in the breeze right where it's always been. Families gather again. Kids fish off the dock. Laughter returns. One evening he sees Angela drive past her car, slowing by the marina. Their eyes meet. Hers carry defeat, his calm resolve. No words pass, but the verdict is already written in the waves. The sunset stretches across Lake Harmony as he sits on his deck line and the water heart finally lighter. Sometimes kindness is mistaken for weakness. Sometimes patience is mistaken for surrender. But the truth is simple: when you fight with facts, strategy, and persistence, justice floats to the surface every time. The story drifts now into quieter waters. Imagine the lake at dusk, the sky bruised with purples and oranges and the soft rhythm of ripples against the dock. Voices that once rose in argument are replaced by the gentle laughter of children chasing minnows with nets. The marina, once a battlefield, has settled into something softer, a place of belonging rather than division. He leans back on the wooden bench of his boat, the air carrying traces of pine and distant barbecue smoke. The tension that knotted his shoulders for months has finally eased, replaced with a steady calm. The boat creaks, the ropes sway, and the whole scene feels like a reminder that storms pass, even when they roar. Historians still argue whether communities collapse from within or rise from their own resilience, but here tonight, resilience clearly wins. In the quiet, he thinks about Angela, about Hannah, about how ambition twisted into greed. He thinks about his neighbors, once hesitant, now stronger together, because they chose to confront what was wrong rather than hide from it. And he thinks about how strange it is that something as simple as a fishing boat could unravel such a web of deceit. The lake darkens. The first stars appear faint at first, then brighter. His boat rocks gently as if the water itself is humming a lullaby. He breathes deeply and lets the stillness sink in. For all the turmoil, for all the meetings and accusations and court filings, the truth is quiet, steady, undeniable. Justice, when it arrives, does not always shout. Sometimes it just settles like twilight over water, wrapping everything in peace. So rest easy, listener. The battle is ended, the waves keep rolling, and tomorrow will bring a gentler dawn.